So with all of that said, I am very excited about this. This has been our intent from the beginning, but we are letting the audience in on it now. What we have done in season 3 is being condensed and made into a book. We don't have a title,
and we don't have a release date.
We don't have a release date. The book is not yet complete, but we have been working on it all year.
Speaking of striving and contending.
Tell me about it. If to the degree that this season has been a college education for me, this book is the thesis, right?
Exactly, yes.
Everything that we talked about in the podcast is going to be brought up in the book. All the topics we covered, all the scriptures, and much more is going to be very condensed. Lord willing, a well thought out, and we hope somehow comprehensive guide to living out the word. Something that you can hold in your hands and something that you can give to a new believer or someone who you think would benefit from it. And not only is it something to sit down and read through, it's something to reference, right?
Yeah, and I would say, our goal when we started out on doing the podcast series and in the idea of actually writing it down in a book was a book that you could hand to a new believer and say, this is a guidebook on the different areas of the Christian life and how you live out being a Christian. At the same time, the goal was also for a seasoned Christian to be able to take that book and receive new challenges, new inspiration, new knowledge of how to live out the word in these different areas. Mm-hmm. So, it would have been a lot more straightforward, I would say, to write a beginner's guide to Christianity, but we have tried to write a guide to Christianity that is applicable across all experience levels. And so, it's a very tall order. We're not done with it, but that is our goal.
Yes, and let me be clear. This book is not life according to Scotty and Andrew. We're full of opinions, the two of us.
We have them.
But this podcast and this book really are not about that. Our goal with this book is to take every topic and essentially do a study on it that brings together all of the scripture passages that pertain to that topic. I mean, the simple assembly of those verses is largely the value of the book, but then laying out those verses and presenting something approximating a coherent message or even a sort of story of what it means to live out the word in that topic. It's all about asking, inquiring of Scripture concerning all of these 12 topics.
Yeah, so we're very excited about that coming to fruition. There's still much work to be done. We're also hoping to have an accompanying workbook that people can use as a study guide, maybe in a group setting to go through that. So we're excited about that. I will say, in order to put all that together, it requires a tremendous amount of effort. And because of that, we are going to take a little bit of a pause in producing the podcast so that we can turn our efforts now fully to the production of the book itself and the workbook that will accompany that. And so, I'm disappointed, I guess. I'm a little bummed, let me just put it that way, about not doing the podcast on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Just because I have enjoyed it so much. It has been a challenge. I know you and I, just in talking, we say, okay, how are we going to be as challenged in our Christian faith if we're not studying and prepping for the podcast? And hopefully a review of the book and working on the book will be that for us. Unfortunately, our listeners will have to wait for the book to come out before they can receive that same benefit. But we hope people understand that in the taking of the pause, and that they will still remember us, even though we're not necessarily coming to them weekly. And I think we still, we don't have a definitive plan, but I think we will still be putting out content probably on the podcast platform, but it will not be in this format.
Yes, you can expect to see some articles continue to be released. Those articles will largely be something like excerpts from the book that just deal with something kind of particular. We also release our articles on audio. So if you're just a podcast listener, first of all, don't be. Go check out our other stuff too. But if you are, you will be getting some of that content coming as well.